Being unknown isn't your problem, it's your superpower. While everyone obsesses over follower counts and viral fame, the smartest people are quietly using their anonymity to build unstoppable businesses from their bedrooms and college apartments. Most people think you need massive audiences and celebrity status to succeed, but that's exactly backwards. The people who understand why anonymity is an advantage are the ones who dominate their markets, while others struggle with proven strategies that don't work. I learned this the hard way building my freelance business, and now I'm going to show you exactly how to weaponize being unknown. Here's what I discovered when I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started analyzing what was actually happening. Every position has advantages, and being the unknown newcomer might be the best position of all. When I started doing freelance design work, I was competing against agencies that had been around for decades and freelancers with impressive portfolios. My first instinct was to try to look bigger than I was. Fake testimonials, stock photos of my team, anything to seem established. That was stupid, because I wasn't competing against the agency owners themselves. I was competing against the junior designer they'd assigned to the project, someone who was probably overworked, underpaid, and handling 15 other projects at the same time. Here's the breakthrough moment. When a potential client is choosing between me and the established agency, they're not choosing between my company and theirs. They're choosing between getting me personally invested in their success versus getting some random employee who sees their project as just another task on an endless to-do list. Let me tell you, that changed everything. Instead of trying to hide the fact that I was small, I made it my selling point. You'll work directly with me, not some junior designer who doesn't care about your business. You have my personal number. When you need changes at 8 p.m. because you just thought of something, you can text me and I'll respond. The response was immediate. Clients started choosing me specifically because I was small, personal, and invested in their success in a way the big agencies simply couldn't be. I'm about to show you the exact framework I use to position this advantage. But first, you need to understand why being small actually makes you more dangerous than any established competitor. Let me tell you about two friends I know who both started offering social media management around the same time I launched my design business. Jake took on 3 local restaurants at $600 per month each. He treated each client like his only client, custom content strategies, personally responding to comments, tracking metrics that actually mattered to restaurant owners like foot traffic and repeat customers. His restaurants saw real results. Within 6 months, those 3 clients had referred 4 more restaurants, and Jake was charging $1,000 per month because his results spoke for themselves. He was making $7,000 monthly, working with businesses he genuinely cared about. Meanwhile, Marcus focused on scaling fast. He charged $150 per month and signed up 25 clients using templates and automated posting. Generic content, zero personal touch, no real strategy. Clients got mediocre results, and most left after a few months. 8 months later, he was still scrambling to replace churning clients and making about $3,000 per month while working twice as hard. The difference? Jake understood something crucial. One client who gets amazing results and refers 2 friends is worth more than 10 clients who leave mediocre reviews. This is why you need to perfect your service before you try to scale it, and being small makes this possible. When you only have 3 clients, you can spend hours understanding their specific needs. You can pivot your entire approach based on feedback. You can test new strategies without affecting dozens of people. When I only had 4 design clients, I could afford to spend extra time making each project perfect. I learned what worked, what didn't, and developed systems that actually delivered results. That foundation is what allowed me to scale later without losing quality. Being unknown gives you one massive advantage: speed. While established companies are stuck in their processes, you can move fast and adapt instantly. My friend, I experienced this firsthand when competing for a rebrand project with a local marketing agency. They had 12 employees and years of experience. I was working from my bedroom with a laptop and Adobe Creative Suite. They told the client their process would take 6 to 8 weeks from concept to final delivery. I offered to create 3 initial concepts within 48 hours, get feedback, and have the final brand ready within 2 weeks. But here's the key. I didn't just promise speed. I delivered a sample logo concept with their business name during our initial meeting. While they were talking about their process, I was showing actual work. I won that project, and it became one of my biggest early wins. Their size and established process became a disadvantage because the client needed to move fast, and I could deliver what they needed when they needed it. When you're unknown, failure is private. This is huge. When I launched my first service offering, basic logo design for $200, it flopped completely. I got maybe 2 inquiries in a month and 0 sales. If I had been an established business, that failure would have hurt my reputation. But since nobody knew about it, I just quietly pivoted, raised my prices to $800, repositioned as brand identity design, and started targeting small businesses instead of startups. That second attempt worked much better. I was learning and iterating without any public failure, damaging my reputation. Big companies can't do this. When they launch something that doesn't work, it's news. Competitors use it against them, clients lose confidence. But when your experiment fails and you have 300 followers, nobody notices except you. This freedom to fail privately is incredibly valuable when you're figuring out what works. I'm curious about your experience with this. Have you ever tried something that completely failed, but nobody knew about it? Maybe a side project, a service offering, or even a social media strategy? How did that private failure actually help you improve your approach? Share your story in the comments. These hidden learning experiences are often the most valuable ones. My friend, here's what nobody tells you about competition when you're building something. It's not just about other businesses. You face different types of competition at each stage, and understanding this helps you prepare. Stage 1. Fighting yourself. Your biggest enemy isn't some established competitor. It's the voice in your head saying you're not qualified, you don't have enough experience, you should just get a normal job. I spent months doubting whether I could really make freelancing work, instead of just applying for jobs like everyone else. The solution is small daily actions that build confidence. I committed to reaching out to 5 potential clients every day, even when I felt like a fraud. That daily action proved to myself that I was serious about this. Stage 2. Social pressure. Once you start getting some success, people around you will have opinions. Some friends supported my freelance journey, but others made comments about real jobs and stable income. Family members asked when I was going to get serious about my career. This is harder than industry competition because it's personal. You have to choose between fitting in with your peer group and pursuing your goals. I had to have some difficult conversations about why I was choosing uncertainty over safety. Stage 3. Proving yourself to others. As you grow, you need to convince people to work with you, refer you, maybe even join your team. This requires different skills than just doing good work. You need to communicate your vision and get others excited about what you're building. The beautiful thing about being unknown is you're only dealing with stages 1 and 2 right now. You don't need to worry about complex business challenges when you're just trying to build your first sustainable income stream. If you're finding value in these insights about building something from scratch, I share much deeper strategies and personal lessons in my weekly newsletter. I break down real challenges I'm facing, experiments I'm running, and frameworks I don't share anywhere else. You can find the link in the description if you want those insights delivered to your inbox. When you're new to any space, you can't compete on experience or track record. You need a different strategy, and it's actually better for everyone involved. Here's exactly how I handle this when competing against established design agencies. They lead with their credentials. We've designed for 200+ businesses over 15 years. We have a proven process and experienced team. I flip the conversation. That sounds impressive, but here's what that actually means for your project. You'll be assigned to whatever designer happens to be available. They're juggling 8 other projects and have never studied your industry. You'll communicate through an account manager who doesn't understand design. Then I position my disadvantage as an advantage. With me, you get someone who will spend time understanding your business before touching Photoshop. You'll work directly with the person doing the work. When you have feedback or ideas, you text me directly instead of playing telephone through multiple people. The framework works like this. 1. Acknowledge what they're good at. They're definitely the most established agency in town. 2. Explain why that's not great for the client, which means your project gets treated like just another number. 3. Show why your weakness is actually their strength. Because I only take on 4 projects per month, each one gets my complete focus. 4. Offer proof. Here's my personal number. Text me right now to see how quickly I respond. 5. Create urgency. I can only take on 1 more project this month before I'm booked. This works because everything you're saying is true and impossible for them to match. They literally cannot promise that clients will work directly with the owner or get immediate responses. When you're small, inconsistency feels scary. 1 week I'd get 3 new inquiries, the next week 0. It felt random and unpredictable, but I learned this isn't a strategy problem, it's a volume problem. If you're getting one client inquiry every 2 weeks, that looks inconsistent. But what if you compressed all the outreach activity that takes you 2 weeks into one day? Suddenly you'd have daily inquiries instead of random weekly ones. The solution is committing to 100 of something every day. For me, it was 100 outreach messages to potential clients. I'd spend 2 hours every morning researching businesses and sending personalized messages about how I could help them. Most people dabble: 5 messages Monday, create 1 Instagram post Tuesday, comment on a few things Wednesday. This scattered approach makes it impossible to know what's working. Pick one method and do 100 units of it daily for 30 days. You'll smooth out the volatility and get consistent data about what actually works. This volume strategy is powerful, but there's one more advantage of being unknown that I wish someone had told me about earlier, and it might be the most important one for building something that lasts. The biggest advantage of being unknown isn't about competing. It's about the complete freedom to experiment and build exactly what you want without anyone watching or judging. When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Every new approach is basically risk-free, because if it doesn't work, you're just back where you started. But if it works, the upside is unlimited. I tried 4 different service offerings before finding what actually worked. First was basic logo design for $200. Nobody wanted it. Then website design for $1,500, too complicated for most small businesses. Then I tried brand packages for $3,000, too expensive for my target market. Finally, I landed on brand identity systems for $1,200 that included logo, color palette, fonts, and basic brand guidelines. This hit the sweet spot of what businesses actually needed at a price they could afford. Each failed experiment taught me something crucial about my market. More importantly, each failure cost me almost nothing except time. I was learning what worked without any public embarrassment or reputation damage. If I had been an established business, those early failures would have hurt my credibility. But since I was unknown, I could experiment freely until I found what worked. When you're small, you can learn faster than anyone else in your market. Every conversation with a potential client is data. Every project teaches you something new. Every failure gives you specific feedback about what to improve. Large agencies make decisions based on quarterly reviews and market research. I can just call my clients directly and ask what they actually need. When a project doesn't go well, I can immediately identify what went wrong and fix it for the next client. Let me tell you, this learning speed compounds over time. While competitors are analyzing last month's performance, I've already tested 2 new approaches and found one that works better. The key is treating every interaction as a learning opportunity. When someone doesn't hire me, I ask why. When someone does hire me, I ask what convinced them. When projects don't go as planned, I figure out exactly what went wrong. This direct feedback loop disappears as you get bigger. Once you have hundreds of clients, you lose the ability to have personal conversations with each one. You have to rely on surveys and analytics instead of direct communication. Everything I've learned comes down to this. Being unknown isn't a disadvantage to overcome, it's an advantage to leverage. You just have to know how to use it. The people who win aren't those with the biggest followings or most experience. They're the ones who understand their position, play to their strengths, and focus on creating real value for real people. Your advantages right now are incredible. You're small enough to care about every client personally, fast enough to adapt instantly, and free enough to take risks that established businesses can't afford. The established players in your market are comfortable but slow. They're running on systems built for scale, not innovation. They're playing defense while you get to play offense. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was starting. Your anonymity isn't holding you back. It's setting you up to build something amazing. Every giant company started exactly where you are now. They all used their underdog position to move fast, experiment freely, and focus intensely on solving real problems. That's exactly what you're doing right now. The question isn't whether you can compete with established players. The question is whether you'll leverage your advantages or waste time wishing you were further along. Most people see being unknown as a problem to solve. Smart people see it as a weapon to wield. Stop trying to look bigger than you are. Start using your size as your competitive edge. Your time being unknown is limited. Eventually, you'll have a reputation to protect, systems to maintain, and expectations to meet. But right now, in this moment, you have something that no successful business can buy back: the freedom to be whoever you want to become. Use it. If you found this video helpful, This next video right here will take you even further. Your choice, your life. Start now.